ABC Thursdays.
Welcome back.
Grey's Anatomy is all new.
Why didn't you tell me you were pregnant?
The drama going down
Bungee jumping from the bridge, his cord snapped.
We need all hands on deck.
is unbelievable.
You think you're God's gift to this hospital? You're just another doctor.
My relationship with Catherine is complicated.
I'm gonna sue you.
Your lawyers know where to find me.
You're unbelievable.
Grey's Anatomy. All new Thursdays, 10/9 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to bite into Nerds gummy clusters? They're fruity. They're tangy. They're gummy. And they're crunchy. Nerds Gummy Clusters, a union of fruity sweet gummy and tangy crunchy nerds. Unleash your senses. Shop now at nerdscandy.com.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's podcast episode. And today I've got Colin Hirdman, and he is a lifelong entrepreneur building businesses. He's got a really interesting slant in terms of entrepreneurship. He's going to talk about rise of the non-technical entrepreneur, 5 stages of scaling, shared success agreement, and really happy to have his insights and thoughts on the show. So Colin, welcome.
Yeah, thanks so much, Christopher. Really appreciate you having me.
Yeah, so can you give a background, how you got started, what you do, and we'll dive right into the conversation.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. I have a pretty interesting background, actually. I started my first business a week after graduating from college with a criminal justice degree. So I never took a business marketing or accounting class, and pretty much just trial by fire ever since. I've never had to make a resume, and I've just been making it up as I've gone along. The first company I had for a little over a decade, and I ended up selling that company. And then in 2007, I started Monkey Island Ventures with 2 buddies of mine. We've all known each other since we were about 5 years old. And Monkey Island is the name of a park that we used to play at when we were kids here in the Twin Cities in Minneapolis, St. Paul. We leaned really heavily into tech. We're building software and probably built over a dozen software products over the years. We did a Kickstarter and built a smart water meter and got funded. And then we've also built 2 service businesses. One is a digital marketing company and the other is a software development company. We have a team here in the U.S. of around 40 people and also use some international talent as well. So yeah, it's been a great ride. Really have enjoyed the journey and doing it with 2 of my best friends. So yeah, happy to take it in a number of different directions.
Yeah, so one thing that we talked about in the background was, this idea of the rise of non-technical entrepreneur. And I'm just curious about trends and talk about the new era it's ushering in.
Yeah, no, happy to. So there's 3 things we see that are happening all at the same time that are really giving non-technical entrepreneurs the opportunity to scale technology-based businesses. And we're mostly talking about software here. And what we're seeing is the rise of low-code or no-code tools, okay? Any of us, whether we're technical or not, could start building our software idea using low-code, no-code software, okay? There's just been a plethora of these new products that are out there to really help us non-technical entrepreneurs build the products that we're envisioning. And so what I will say, there is a caveat to that. One of the things you want to make sure you do is keep your guardrails really tight around your pain or product idea that you're trying to solve for, because it's really easy to get kind of wide eyes and build something. One of the things we talk, or overbuild something, one of the things we talk about is how it's never been easier to build software, but it's also never been easier to overbuild. Okay, so you really need to be honed in on what it is that you want to build. But these low-code, no-code tools can do that. The other thing to say about them is you may have to cobble a couple of them together, and you may find that you only get 80 or 90% of the way there, and you might need to hire someone to fill that last gap. Our software development company, Cloudburst, really acts as like a mentor or a guide in helping non-technical entrepreneurs think about how they need to build out their product. So the second thing is international talent. So you can find technical talent to aid you, and you can use platforms like Upwork, and you can find international talent at a much lower cost that can do exactly what you need it to do. The only problem with that is because you're not technical, you're beholden to them. So you don't really know if the code they're creating is correct. You don't really know if kind of the way that they're envisioning your product is totally accurate. So there can be some issues there around language and culture, as well as just ensuring you have alignment. But you can get low-cost talent and really go a long way using international talent. And the third is AI. Of course, AI is assisting technical and non-technical alike in building products. So those three things, low code, no code, international talent, and AI are really helping non-technical entrepreneurs start moving their technical ideas and especially software forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, really fascinating. And I love this idea because a lot of these before, like you had to blogging, you had to know these codes, but now you had WordPress and Wix, you can create it and all the code is running in the background. No, my next question is this idea of the 5 stages of scaling. And talk about how entrepreneurs can use that to grow their business.
Yeah. Yep. No, it's a big question. And I find this to be really compelling in that these 5 stages of growth through software is really a way for any entrepreneur, whether you have a business or not, but especially those that also have an ongoing business, to really scale through technology in ways that weren't possible in the past. The first stage of scaling your business with software is having a vision, right? The entrepreneur, it's up to you to have the vision to understand the pain that you're trying to solve and be able to communicate that to whoever it is that you're working with to get that product built. Or if you were going to build it yourself through low code, no code, being able to articulate that vision, what it is you're going to build. The second stage is giving that product to your team and or your customers so they can begin giving feedback on what they like and what they don't like, and that you can start getting provable data points that these audiences actually want and value the product that you're building. And so again, you want to have a really narrow focus. You want to hone very specifically in on the pain points that you're trying to solve, and you want to get that product out in the hands of your users as fast as you can. It should be ugly. It shouldn't be perfect. There should be probably some issues with it that maybe you don't tell people about right away, but that you just want to get in their hands and see if it's really solving a pain. If you can prove that it is helping your team and or customers, then move on to stage 3. And stage 3 is where your product should be helping you close sales. It should be helping you close deals. You should be able to go to the marketplace and say, hey, this is my company. This is what we do. Oh, and by the way, we have this unique software product that does something that our competitors don't have, and it provides these types of benefits to you. And you should be able to show then that your software is helping you close deals because of the unique value that it's providing your company. If you can show that your software works, and not only that, but it's also helping you differentiate and close business, then you move on to stage 4, which is really the dream for any entrepreneur, which is if you're able to show those things, you've now added more value to your company and you've probably added a multiple to the value of your business. So any investor or anyone that might want to buy your business sees your business in a different light than your competitors because you provide these services or products, but you also have a layer of uniqueness, which is the software that is providing these efficiencies or these benefits to your team and or customers. So that's stage 4. And a lot of entrepreneurs stop there. But there's a stage 5. And the stage 5 is if you have solved these pain points for your business, it's highly likely that you've solved the same pain points for others within your industry. And so stage 5 is putting your software out as a software as a service product, as a SaaS product into your industry and allowing other companies that do the same type of work that your company does to start benefiting from that software as well. And that is where you start to achieve mass potential in profits and also scale, because now you're scaling on software. You're not just scaling on people. And so that's really what stage 5 is all about, where you're choosing to scale a technology company with a SaaS product into your industry. And so those are the 5 stages of scaling through software.
Yeah. Interesting how you talked about scaling through people and scaling through software. And it reminds me, scaling through software is infinitely more than with people. For non-technical entrepreneurs looking to build software, what strategies and resources would you recommend and to make sure they bring their vision to life without that technical background?
Yeah. The number one thing that I would recommend is start talking to people that have developed product And that could be true for both low code, no code, or maybe you actually want to talk to people like us at Cloudburst. It doesn't cost you anything to talk to different development companies and see what their philosophies are and how they build software. You're going to learn a lot. And then you might even want to start dabbling in kind of low code, no code tools and see what you can start to build. There's also lots of startup communities in most cities where you could go and meet other people in the flesh and actually talk to other people and see what their experiences are. We actually just started last month something called No Code Coffee here in Minneapolis. And we're charging, I think, $20 or $25 for a ticket. Start going from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. And we had 30 people show up for our very first one. So we had a speaker there that had built their product on low code, no code technology. And now we're starting to scale a real company. And so there are local meetups that you could start getting involved in as well. But if you're really passionate about a problem that you've already identified and you believe that software is a way for you to address that pain point, I would say look at low code, no code tools and start talking to people that could actually start helping you understand what it might actually take to build a product if you want to go down more of the custom software road.
Yeah, I love that. One thing that's really interesting in your bio is that you've built companies with your two best friends. I don't like my best friends are probably from med school residency. It's great that. So what is because your business partnership, most business partnerships I see have failed and people just go their way. What are the key factors to success?
Yeah, we have something called the 5 Fs. Okay. So it's friendship, family, freedom, finances, and fun. Those are our 5 Fs. We have always put our personal relationships and our families ahead of our businesses. And I think it also helps that we've known each other since we were 5 years old. So we know each other as well as anyone knows us. And we have literally shared blood, sweat, tears, laughs, and all of it. So you have to just ensure that the people that you're going into business with are people that you can trust implicitly, that the foundation of what you're building is your personal relationships first and business second. We have failed more businesses than we've succeeded with. And very rarely is one decision going to cost you your business. And so you have to just choose what hills you're willing to die on. And also just don't take things so seriously. You have to, yes, business is serious, but at the same time, you take it too seriously and you're going to lose all the joy in life. It's one of the things I think for Josh, Zach, and I, is we've always put our friendship and our relationship before business. And we're in it, yes, to make money, but we're also in it because we want to enjoy the experience together. And part of that enjoyment is even going through the really hard times where things have really just sucked, and being able to rely on one another and being able to use each other's energies and build off of that. And I've had business in the past where I was alone at the top, and that's a really hard thing. If you're able to go into business with friends and go into eyes wide open in the ways that I've explained, I think it's worth it.
Yeah, really interesting. And it almost reminds me of like you have a marriage, which is also a partnership, but then you also, I know like my good friend from college, he chose to focus on creating really great business partnerships, very similar to marriage, but in a different context. Yeah. But talk about shared success agreement, because I know you totally focus that. And what is it, and how can the audience apply it or use it?
So the shared success agreement is something that my business partner Zach invented, and it really came from an experience that we had. So going back to one of our first products that we developed, and it was called Local Tweeps, and it was in the early days of Twitter. And it took about a month to build. And the Twitter product is you would log into our product with your Twitter account, you would put in your zip code, and then it would associate you with that zip code, city, and state. And then a tweet would go through your account and it would say, hey, everybody, I just signed up on Local Tweeps at zip code 55418. You should sign up too. And we got this viral loop, and we ended up signing up 30,000 users in 2 days. We were a trending topic on Twitter, and it was just an amazing experience. We didn't make any money on it because we had no monetization model. So that parlayed into a product that we built called SMB 12, Okay, so SMB Tweet is a product that we built to help like local retail get a Twitter following, like a coffee shop, right? They want Twitter followers that could walk in and actually buy a coffee. That's what they care about. And so we had an algorithm. Our product then would, over time, generate a large, continuing, growing audience for these local retail establishments. But Josh, Zach, and I don't write code. So we had to hire a developer. The developer that we hired, I know you guys are in bootstrap mode, said, my normal hourly rate is $100 an hour. Said, I'll charge you $50 an hour to build your MVP. But once your MVP is built and you start generating revenue, I want 10% of your revenue to go back to me and pay me out at $150 an hour for all the hours that I put in. And we said that sounds like a good deal. So he built our MVP. He got paid $50 an hour to build our MVP. Then we started generating revenue through that product, and we paid him out at $150 an hour on all the hours that he put into the project. So he got an additional income stream coming into him, and he didn't have to put in any more time. And then for us, we got our MVP built, and we didn't have to give him any equity. And so what Cloudburst did, our software development company, is we ended up adopting and creating what's called a shared success agreement, which allows a owner or founder to create an agreement with a service provider. And it could be accounting, it could be legal, it could be marketing, it could be software development. But really, the service provider is discounting their services for a share of future revenue. And so if you go to sharedsuccessagreement.org, anyone can go and create these agreements for free. We don't make any money on it. It's just a new kind of alternative to debt or equity or crowdfunding that we think really creates a win between the two parties. And one other little caveat is you can also raise money through a shared success agreement. You can also have someone give you money through a shared success agreement, and it works under the crowdfunding equity laws. When you use there's a calculator on the site, so you can play around with different fields and numbers. It's only 5 fields. It's very simple. And when you submit it, a Word document will get emailed to you with all the legalese in there. And then you just go in and you do any fine tuning between you and the other party. But it's great on the founder side because you can get service providers that come in at a discount for a share of future revenue. But it's also great for service providers because you may want to work with the client and maybe they don't have the money to pay you your full rate, but maybe you use a shared success agreement as a way to begin to establish a relationship. So it's super simple. It's really easy. You don't have to worry about valuations and cap tables and all these other things. If anyone ends up using one, please let us know. We'd love to hear your story and how you use it.
Yeah, really interesting. And then to run it out, what is this Ladders of Wealth creation and how can people contact you and find out more about you? Your ideas are really interesting.
Yeah, so I'll end it on 2 notes here. So one is if you just enter Ladders of Wealth Creation into Google, you'll get an article that comes up. And Nathan, the guy that created ConvertKit, which is like $100 million SaaS company, he wrote this article like 5 years ago. And the article is all about how you move up these 4 ladders in terms of business models. And it's done in a very simple yet informative way that really helps any entrepreneur think about building a more profitable and a more scalable business. The one thing to just note is each ladder, as you jump across each ladder, it's more difficult to achieve success. And as you go up each ladder, each rung on the ladder is also more difficult to move up to. But that Ladders of Wealth Creation article really goes into some detail explaining the different ladders and the different rungs and how you create more profitable and more scalable businesses. So I think it's a great read for anyone. And then the last thing I'll say is, in terms of just like my entrepreneurial road, we're very fluid in terms of like where we see opportunities, and something that we are now more publicly launching is what I'm terming like an authentic automation platform called Rainmaker. And it's all built on top of LinkedIn. So if you go to rainmakergrows.com, you can start to learn about the different ways of leveraging LinkedIn to grow your network, your leads, and your sales using what I'm terming authentic automation and all these different ways of growing your business. That's something that I'm spending a lot more of my time on now. Really excited about that. So If anyone has any questions, they can certainly send me on LinkedIn, Colin Hirdman, and you can see monkeyislandventures.com, not adventures, but ventures, monkeyislandventures.com. And that shows all the different companies that we have and more of our story. Would love to talk to anyone that is on or thinking about the entrepreneurial journey. I would be more than happy to give some time and help out however I can.
Yeah, really interesting. And I really love your ideas about scaling and using software. And for all the audience, let's thank Colin for coming on and sharing his ideas, and be sure to give his company and follow his socials. And thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you so much, Christopher. Appreciate it.